Okay, this is my response to the readings and the movie A Fair Use Tale and Steal This Movie. And I still feel like I feel the same how I did when watching the other movie, the remix movie. I still agree with that point of view for the most part. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting how they talked about how ideas are like the new oil, because they're like ideas can be that valuable and people can make that much money off of them, and how it's starting a new war on the copyright and ideas, which is interesting because you never would think about something like that and like associate it with a war. And the readings and the videos talked about a lot of interesting things. It talked a lot about like the Pirate Bay, which I gotta say I go on and I download from there often. But I mean, there's like a million sites like that where you can download things from. But it seems like the Pirate Bay is getting a lot of shit for it, and I don't think they deserve it. I think all these corporations are getting a lot out of hand and getting really greedy, and they just keep screwing over small companies like the Pirate Bay, and they just want as much money as they can get. And I think the Pirate Bay is a good site, and I think it's good for our society, and I think it's good for society to have like a place where they can go and get these things for free to use for whatever they use them for. I think that's a good site, and I think it should stay around. And also the fairy use tale video, that was interesting. How they use they used material that they weren't supposed to use. They used all different clips from Disney movies to get their point across. It was kind of cool. I liked how they did that. And they talked about how it's kind of bullshit, all these copyright laws, and how they really shouldn't exist, and it's kind of crazy. And it's just like these few corporations have a monopoly on copyright business, and they're making millions and millions of dollars off of us. And like with Napster, it's kind of ridiculous how they would be arresting 13-year-olds for downloading music, which obviously that's not the way to go about it. Arresting a few teenagers here and there is not going to stop anyone from downloading. I know it certainly hasn't stopped me. And it's just interesting how like ridiculous copyright laws can be, and how it seems like it's stifling our society. And I think that it should be joint ownership on these types of things. I don't think that these corporations should have all the ownership and be making all this money off of them, off of people downloading. Let's see. And I think that sites like the Pirate Bay and like Napster, I think that it helps to like enforce creativity. It gives people people are able to see all different types of material. They could draw from it. They can use it. I think these things are the sites like the Pirate Bay are good. They should exist. It helps the flow of ideas. And also, I think we talked about this in class a little bit about DC++. It's kind of interesting how like that's kind of the same thing as Pirate Bay or LimeWire or Napster or any of those sites, but because it's in a small network, it's only for Rowan students. It's supposedly legal. I don't really know exactly I don't know any of the details about it, but it's kind of interesting how just because it's in a smaller area, it's legal. But, that's all I got. Okay, this is my response to the a remix manifesto movie that we had to watch. And I think for the most part, I pretty much agree with the maker of the movie. It seems like big corporations have a hold on everything, and it shouldn't be that way. It seems like we are heading towards a less free future, and I think things definitely need to change. It seems like creativity nowadays isn't what it used to be. Creativity used to be original ideas, but now I think creativity is more of just taking old ideas and putting them together to form new ideas. Even in some of my other writing classes, we talked about how we were talking about copyright and how nothing's really creative anymore, and how the definition of creativity has changed, and if you want to be successful, you have to take from other places and kind of rework it and make it your own. And I don't know, there was a lot of examples of like that in the movie. With where the guy works, he works at a medical center, and it's pretty amazing that like people can have patents on cures to diseases and things like that, and like it definitely shouldn't be that way, because if there was free exchange of these ideas, then it would be easier for people to build upon them and to find cures for diseases like AIDS or cancer. So I think that's kind of messed up, and there should definitely be no medical patents. And with Disneyland, that was kind of interesting how Walt Disney, like, he pretty much remixed all these old fairy tales and old stories and made them into movies movies for kids, and just modernized them. And then he went and changed the copyright laws so that no one else could ever do that again. I think that's kind of messed up. I think, if he can do it, then everyone should be able to do it. And how people can have patents on living things like the ayahuasca. That's a little extreme. And I don't know how legit that patent is, because I know you can buy ayahuasca plant leaves online. I had a friend who tried making it. But overall, it seems like the movie brought up a lot of good points. It's kind of messed up how we can't freely use things that are out there. Like, we should be able to work together to use other people's ideas and build upon them and make them better, and to collaborate. Collaboration, as we talked about earlier in the class, is really important, and I think these copyright laws are getting in the way of collaboration, and that's not good. The more we collaborate, the better. And the whole thing of girl talk, I think it's kind of messed up that people are even suing him. Like, clearly, he's a very creative artist, and all these movies, or the music that he's making, is like completely original. I mean, sure, he takes from old artists and old songs, but the way he remixes them makes them completely new and completely creative. And he's a really great artist, and I was supposed to see him at a festival this summer, but didn't end up happening. But he's a great artist, and I actually listen to him all the time. And yeah, just overall, I think that copyright laws are kind of ridiculous, and I definitely agree with the maker of this movie. Seems like it's hindering us as a society, and that, like, if we could all use whatever we wanted freely, that we could get a lot more accomplished and bring upon a new, like, age of creativity. Okay, so I wasn't sure what to do for my remix project, so I went on StumbleUpon, and I started stumbling to try to look for ideas. And first, I stumbled and I came across a site that all has like philosophical ideas for being happy, and it was all about like self-identity and being honest with yourself. And I kept stumbling, and I came across a website about the kid from Rutgers who killed himself because he was gay. And so I think I'm going to combine the two for my remix idea, and make some kind of video that has something to do with the philosophical ideas about like self-identity and like being yourself and being happy, and stuff with the recent gay suicides, and maybe like incorporate like Martin Luther King's like equality speech, something along those lines.